Hi and welcome to What's New TV. I'm your host, Teddy Calderon. Welcome to our audio podcast. Tonight we're going to be talking about the creative economy in regards to money for the creatives, how to access money, and community. And also my guest, DSR, who will be joining me in this discussion.
Hi, good night, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, by the way, Teddy, for allowing me to be on your
There's no worries, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no
Give
worries.
thanks still.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so let's jump right into this discussion way. So for you, how did the lockdown treat you?
It was interesting. My other life, finance, I was still working.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were working from home. I can't lie, it was rather traumatic for me. I think this is one of the most traumatic periods that would have come across in Barbados. For a very long time.
Yeah.
I think I've heard the Prime Minister speaking about since probably World War II, when it has such a major situation like this occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, yes, I might have been working as well, but yeah, it was very weird. I must say.
And just a little brief background so people can have an anchor point of who DSR is or what he does.
Well, DSR is an artist. Do a lot of music. We would probably hear a lot more raga soca on my particular end. For me, I find raga soca allows me to best express certain things on my mind.
Because we both are artists, and our artists have the ability to express whatever is on their minds, what's bothering them or their communities, right?
Correct, I think so too.
Yeah.
I also, a little entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
In the way that I do things, and I dabble a lot into the banking and the financing, the understanding of businesses and the structures and the dynamics.
Correct. We both did some deep business studies, right? In the international business and trade policies.
It's true.
So looking at the COVID lockdown and how it affected our revenue streams, and looking at how we are trying to rebuild it. And some of us are trying to kind of do the same things, but we can't do the same things because the whole supply chain was disrupted, and now this new supply chain that they're rebuilding is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that first?
Well, let me just say that one of the things that COVID probably expressed for everyone is that not only the multiple income streams that we would speak about before is a desired thing. One of the key things is that you really need to have like a working capital support. Well, for the basic individual, that may be savings. We had a situation where it was illegal to trade at a certain point throughout the lockdown, and that meant that all trade was made illegal, except for what was deemed and determined to be essential. So that was peculiar in its own sense. I mean, there are many times that they would have had issues before where one type of industry would have been shut down, say like the scrapping, the metal, or the case may be, and persons could pivot into something different. But this situation was such that, and the shock was so major that there was no way to bring in income under the normal way of things, and it was also global. So that was a major hurdle.
Yeah, and that created a lot of problems in society. You got a lot of people with mental health issues because they're worried about the bills are still coming. Although it was supposed to be a suspension, the bills were still coming. There's not enough monies from savings or from even doing your little essential work because
And that's where the fallout. And that's where the fallout basically start to come.
Correct.
And as we, I don't want to say progress or regress in this particular time, without an increase in those opportunities to be able to earn, well, we'll be moving further and further into a more depressed state. Right? And when we talk about the economic disruption, then we hit the other two main elements that human beings are motivated or moved or impacted by. That psychological that you spoke about just now, but also that sociological as well, because COVID also hit all three.
Correct.
I mean, you had to be 6 feet here, you couldn't do this, you couldn't meet this body. And even now, we still have those restrictions around, where you can do, how you can do it in the off. It's really interesting, and I think it requires more sober thought, backed and validated by information.
And funny enough too, that is impacting our children, because online teaching may be fine for some, but for most it's not a way of learning, because the engagement is so low. I stood and I watched my daughter on online classes. Like, she was so out of it. She's more of she's tactile person, and she likes to be involved in things. So it's very strange in how we got to now do things, and even for the creative economy, where some people will be making money with their guitars or their drums or whatever. Being online is just not the same. The acoustics are not the same. The feel is not the same. It's a completely different thing. And I guess for me, in the lockdown, a lot of people say they were studying. I was studying before COVID. I was looking at specific things, but it still had that impact on your creative mindset.
Yeah, it did. What I think too as well, that it also gave those opportunities, and one of the biggest opportunities that COVID gave as an individual, in my perspective, is time.
Agree with that.
Yeah. The general way of life, and it will continue to, but let me say it's post-COVID or pre-COVID. Sorry, is it had many things. You're doing so many things. You had limited time. But let me tell you, when that lockdown or that lockup situation occurred, you had time. Now, some persons might utilize that time to read over Netflix. Okay, cool. Some other persons would use it to learn a lot of different things, which I was able to do too. But in my instance, I was also working as well. Although some demand would have dropped significantly, and we know why. But time was the true essence of that. Yeah. And, is what you chose to do with it, and how you utilize that particular circumstance. So I'm expecting, all remaining equal, that coming out or going through this situation, because we're not seeing it out yet, that creativity will increase. Now, it's going to increase both ends, negative and positive.
And I just want to jump in here, because I see there's a great dependency on the NCF, National Cultural Foundation. And I understand the dependency because there's limited opportunities right now. But we need to focus on rebuilding our system or developing new revenue streams. And that comes through education. Now, the National Cultural Foundation was developed to, one, keep educational workshops to help develop the creative arts, and two, to develop carnivals or festivals. But we now see a new focus on the whole COVID fallout, and we call dispersing monies to creative groups to deliver a product, to say, well, look, we have helped 10 or 5,000 creatives now to recover from COVID. But the challenge is the way it's done is a bit lopsided, I would say. I think there was not enough thought about it, because we're all screaming and saying, there's we need to get stuff done, and done in a way that's quick, but then accountability and certain things have not been,
Well, to be fair, it's not a bad idea.
No,
and we as a country, we don't have a bottomless pit of money, and so I must commend the government, and also utilizing the NCF for what they have done. Because truth be told, they didn't have to do it, and the ability to assist. It now pushes, or had to push now the creative to become more innovative because the monies will be limited. Yes, need to be more resourceful, and so it forces you, because there's a general premise, right, that Barbadians or Barbados only change through crisis.
Yeah. So we are reactive and not proactive. We tend to know that and looking at in society. One of the things that I think we should get into in the next podcast is ways to develop revenue streams and help creatives to kind of, start to look towards the future. So re-educating themselves or touching it, because some of them may know but not be sure exactly. Like things like YouTube, where we don't monetize in Barbados. So you have to use a third-party company to do that. And then the money is taxed, right? We can get into details about that. But there are other
business.
Yes. There are other revenue streams that you can utilize too. Just the platform is not as popular, you would say. Because it's whole time there's 8.5 billion people on the planet, right? Wow. And they're all watching things, isn't it?
It's true.
And then the internet keeps us all connected. We all want to talk and we all want to do certain things. So the internet is still there to utilize. It's just we are accustomed to literally, like I said, with my daughter, seeing and touching things. So we prefer that way than to use this new way. But I do believe there are new opportunities, because in every crisis there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And we need to know, as a small island state, look at the possibilities and the opportunities. I know it's somebody speaking like a politician, but not really. And it's just my brain. It's how my brain, kind of works in regards to not just sitting back and cussing somebody and blaming somebody,
Yeah, it must be solution based.
Correct.
And I appreciate that. I think as you said about the tangibility aspect of it, well, that's human.
Yeah.
So even as when you see a baby, one of the first things you see a baby do is put its fist in its mouth. It's touching, it's tasting its environment, so to speak. Yeah. So we do touch.
Correct.
What COVID has done is that it make touching and all that kind of stuff illegal and a bad thing to do. So we still got to be careful there, because we need to be able to balance our humanity along with the protocols that may exist, as people say, to may keep us safe.
Yeah.
What I would say though, creative or not, that we still need to have a sober mind around what it is we're doing, and backed by information. If you call it science, or where the case is verifiable, information around making the right moves, navigating the situation that has presented at hand.
Yeah. So we want to bring, like I said, some information that would kind of help the creative economy in the next podcast. So stay tuned for more. I'm your host, Teddy Calderon, alongside DSR. So like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next podcast, where we can bring you some information, right? We can keep it simple, again, but still flowing. Peace.